everybody, I'm Raven Maureen, and today I want to share with you my pattern review for McCall's 8312. So let's get into it. All right, so let's talk about this pattern first. So a quick overview, it's very, very boho chic. The sleeves are huge, the skirt is huge. It's got a V-neck on there, and there's about 4 different views here, and all of them are extremely similar with the exception of the length and the sleeves varying throughout. I believe this was released last spring, and Brittany J. Jones, she did a sew along for it, I think around that time last year, and then I haven't seen a lot of inspiration for this pattern. Like, there's not a lot of hashtags for it or anything, or a lot of posts on their hashtag for it, and so I was really kind of going off of just the handful that I saw and just a little bit of like Pinterest inspiration, which there wasn't a lot of that out there either. So let's get into what I did like about this pattern, what drew me in. By the way, I believe I did cut an extra large in this pattern, and that is actually a size up for me. But if you look closely here, the bib part is really supposed to start right here on your shoulders. And when I measured that piece up to my shoulder, it wasn't lining up with my shoulder. So I actually sized up, and I don't mind it at all. I probably would cut the same size again. But anyway, back to what I like about this pattern, what drew me to this pattern. And honestly, it was the sleeves. Like, the sleeves were the seller, right? This is the selling point. And then after that, I think it was the bib. I love the concept of a bib, and I don't have a lot of bib dresses, but then I kept looking at it like, I like the bib, but what don't I like about the bib? And I think what was driving me a little crazy about this pattern was the V-neck. It just doesn't sit well with me, like aesthetic or style wise. Like it wasn't landing with me. And that's a preference, right? That's a personal preference. So when I was looking at the hashtag, I think there was one sewist or designer who changed her neckline, and I thought, that's it. Like, you have to almost change the neckline on this for me in order for me to really like see where they're going with this. The other thing I really like about this pattern is that it does have a lot of gathers. And okay, maybe we don't always love to sew gathers, but at the end, when the gathers are gathered, like, don't you love it? Like, I love it. So I really love the gathers. I love that it's like super loose. Like, I work from home a lot, and I just want to be like free. I just want to hang out there. Not be out there, but just, you know, it's not constricting. And I'm the type of person too where I love a good like road trip dress, or like a dress for the airplane or something like that. And honestly, if done correctly, you can do something like this and travel in it, or even, you know, spend a long day in it, because it is just a relaxed fit, right? So you already know I did not like the neckline, and you also know that there was not a lot of inspiration to go off of as well. So those were probably the 2 things that I didn't like. So here's how I hacked it. And so I am going to show you how I hacked the neckline very briefly, and then you're gonna come back and see me. So first I took pattern piece number 1 and I retraced it onto pattern drafting paper in order to keep the original pattern piece, just in case I made a mistake later. I transferred all notches and anything else that may be important for me to have for this new pattern piece. Next, I took a pattern piece that is from a totally different pattern that I know has a crew neck. And so I wanted to match up the neckline with the crew neckline and simply trace over it and create an entire new bodice. Next, I marked on my new pattern where I want my edge to stop, and then I also put a note for myself to cut on the fold as well.
And then after that, I decided to cut out my pattern piece and then true up my front bodice with my back bodice piece to make sure that the shoulder seams actually would match. And then for the final step, I drew a small line from that dot that I made earlier, and I cut it that way I would have a little V-neck opening.
Okay, so that is how I hacked the neckline. There was quite a bit of evolution with this pattern. So I started out with very much being definitive about curving up the neckline and making it a more slender V. Like that was something I was very adamant I knew I wanted to do. And then I was like, oh yeah, let's add ties. And then I was very, very curious about the longer length of it. And then when I tried it on, I was like, oh, maybe I need a ruffle here. So then I ended up adding the ruffle, and then I didn't really know how to feel about the ruffle. And I went on my Instagram stories and I was showing people like how this was shaping and coming together. And honestly, this was a really polarizing dress for my audience, because half the people were like, I don't know how to feel. Like, you just went to Miami and now you're like at the cottage. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what happened. But at the same time, I can see how there was like a disconnect between what is me and like what I'm experimenting with, and that's totally fine. That was probably one of my most interactive stories that I had throughout this year so far, as far as like if people liked it, loved it, or hated it. And it was very much down the middle. There were some people that were like, this is not something I would normally see from you. So in the end, what I ended up doing was I took the ties out. I replaced them with a black tie. Didn't like that, so I removed that. And then I added a black trim around the bib. No regrets there. And then I made it a hoochie hem. Again, no regrets there. And now I love it. Like, I love it so much. So I guess my advice here, I don't know, do something you haven't done before, I guess. But honestly, I would make this dress again. And I know that it's very much out of what folks are normally used to seeing me wear, but I think that's the fun in sewing. Like, you can make something that isn't already in your closet, or you can make something that could surprise someone, right? And so I think that's part of the beauty and magic of our craft. All right, you guys, thank you for coming by. Thank you for watching this pattern review. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit like or subscribe, and comment below on if you felt like I should have kept it short or if I should have kept it long. I feel like the conversation won't end. Anyway, also, if you're not following me on social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok, you can follow me there at Raven Maureen. I will see y'all next time. Bye.